vision, just so they can't see my lights. This is absolutely nuts.
What the fuck is that?
Whoa. That's wild, but that's so creepy. The horns.
In this video, we uncover the chilling accounts of travelers who dared to spend the night in the world's most forbidden landscapes. Miles away from safety, they quickly learned that when darkness falls, the wilderness becomes a playground for things that actively hunt from the shadows. This video comes from YouTube creator Moxley's Paranormal World, where solo wilderness expeditions often take place deep inside remote forests. What begins as a routine overnight camp quickly turns into a disturbing encounter after unexplained voices, strange noises, and multiple unknown individuals begin appearing around the campsite throughout the night. As he finishes setting up camp before dark, the investigator suddenly hears people laughing and talking somewhere in the surrounding forest. The voices seem completely out of place, given how isolated the location is, creating the uneasy feeling that someone else may be nearby.
Whilst I'm building it, I'm panicking a bit because I can hear people. There's people in this forest. I heard them laughing, talking. They were quite a distance away, but there is people here. I need to do some adjustments on this tarp in a minute. But we're here in one of the UK's most haunted forests.
Hours later, snapping branches and faint human mumbling break the silence. Moments later, shuffling footsteps move directly past the edge of the campsite. Whoever is making the noise remains hidden in the darkness.
I've literally sat here, just chilling for half an hour, and I heard a load of branches cracking. Then I heard mumbling. Then I heard them crackling going past the outside of the tarp. Not too far away, I couldn't see anybody, but this isn't a good idea. I'm here now. I can hear them in the distance. Somebody's literally just walked straight past this. Sounds like somebody's running through the fucking forest. I thought coming out here in the vein would have actually stopped anybody from coming out here. But to be fair, who's to say it is someone? It could be something. I don't want to use any of the equipment out here. I really don't. I'm hearing talking.
At approximately 1:10 a.m., a powerful impact suddenly strikes the shelter. Although he considers the possibility of a falling branch, the force is strong enough to leave him visibly shaken.
So I've just checked the time. It's 1:10 in the morning. There's something quite heavy just hit the side of the tent. Granted, it could be a branch falling off the tree, but it startled me. I just dozed off. It's weird noises, but it's down to the vein, because it's raining. It's making your ears, it's making you hear stuff. This here is the maddest thing I've ever done, and I'm absolutely loving it, to be fair. You can hear the vein. You can hear the drops from the vein hitting the tarp. It almost sounds like somebody's walking around outside. dark it is. Turn this other night vision on.
The situation escalates when a clear whistle echoes from the nearby brush. The sound appears alarmingly close to camp, prompting the investigator to immediately shut off his lights and switch to night vision.
I've just heard somebody whistling. Somebody's just been whistling out here. It sounds so close. Is there someone there? There. That sounds like somebody there then. I had to go night vision, just so they can't see my lights. This is absolutely nuts.
Not long afterward, loud metallic banging begins echoing from a nearby lake. As the noise continues, local dogs start barking frantically before suddenly falling silent, making the unexplained disturbance even more unsettling. After hours of strange activity, the investigator notices two glowing eyes staring at him from beside a nearby tree. The unknown figure immediately darts into the darkness the moment he sits up.
Funniest thing has just happened to me. Well, at first it wasn't the funniest thing. I absolutely crapped myself. I'm just lay there, my eyes closed, got an overwhelming feeling like somebody stood watching me. I just pulled the hammock over the net to look out, and there's just two eyes there staring right at me. It was a goddamn day. I tried to reach for the camera to try and record it because that would have been a moment in itself. Bloody day there staring right at me. I'll show you where it was stood. It was just stood just this side to the right of the tree. And as soon as I sat up, I sort of let out a little cry and released a little bit of poo-poo at the same time. And it just darted off back to the right and around. My adrenaline is pumping because I didn't know what the hell I was seeing. I'm physically shaking. That was a moment. I just wish I could have got that on camera.
At approximately 3:30 a.m., multiple voices approach along a nearby trail. Moments later, loud metallic impacts ring through the forest before everything suddenly goes quiet again.
Right, so I've just been woke up with the weirdest noise ever. It was like a rumbling, growly, absolutely weird noise. I've just checked the time, and it's literally 3 o'clock in the morning. How weird is that? Witching hour.
Only minutes later, an unknown man somehow bypasses the camp's perimeter alarms and suddenly appears at the shelter entrance. A second individual emerges from the darkness shortly afterward.
What I'm going to tell you now was very, very sketchy. So I'm just laid down on the hammock. What time are we at now? So we're at 4:05 in the morning. Oh, you can see that. So about 20 to 4, I just lay there. In just to this side of me, just here, some guy popped his head around and said, "Hey mate, what are you doing?" I didn't even hear him approaching. I went, oh, I'm just camping over for the night. And he come in. He literally just walked in. He just comes in. He's like, all right, what brings you out here? I was just like, oh, I just fancy getting away for the night, mate. Just, what about yourself? And he went, oh, we've got a camp just up the road near the big lake. And I was like, all right, which was a bit odd because he's up at the big lake. What's he doing over this side where I am? So I've ended up giving him a few cigs. Another lad turned up, but the craziest part was I didn't hear them coming whatsoever. They said they come from the big lake. So where I'm sat now at the big lakes, this way. They come from this way behind me.
The two strangers remain at the campsite for nearly 25 minutes, repeatedly asking how long the investigator plans to stay and whether anyone else is expected to arrive. Eventually, both men disappear back into the woods without offering any explanation. They never asked for help. They never explained why they were there, and they seemed far more interested in one thing than anything else. How long he would be alone. This video comes from YouTube creator Grizzly Gaz, where overnight wilderness camping often place him deep inside isolated woodland areas known for strange and unexplained activity. What begins as a quiet night alone in the forest quickly turns into a disturbing situation. After unexplained rustling, heavy movement, and a persistent, unseen presence begin circling the campsite throughout the night. The video opens suddenly in complete darkness as a sharp, rustling sound breaks the silence just outside the shelter. The noise is close, sudden, and immediately alarming. The investigator reacts with visible panic, speaking out into the darkness as if something is standing only a few feet away from his position. The sense of proximity makes it unclear whether the presence is human, animal, or something entirely unknown.
Hi, I can hear you.
Later, while sitting by the campfire adjusting his gear, a sharp, cracking sound echoes through the trees. It resembles the pressure of a heavy step, snapping dry wood. The investigator immediately stops moving and scans the surrounding darkness, but nothing can be seen beyond the limited firelight.
The reason why it took me so long to set up is there used to be a tree over here, and when I was setting my tarp up and my hammock, I was thinking, why is this not going right? Why is it not setting up properly how it used to do? And then I realised they'd cut down a tree over there, so it took me ages to suss that out. What the fuck's that noise?
After returning to his tent for the night, heavy movement suddenly erupts just outside the shelter. Large branches snap repeatedly, as if something is pacing directly around the perimeter. The investigator sits up instantly, realizing the disturbance is extremely close and continuing without stopping.
What the fuck is that? Someone's fucking with us. I've got to be fucking with us, haven't they?
The situation escalates as the movement continues through the nearby thicket. The investigator becomes increasingly tense and begins preparing for a possible confrontation. Heavy footsteps and shifting brush suggest something is actively circling the campsite, maintaining close range without revealing itself. A strange grunting and snorting sound suddenly emerges from just outside the tent. The noise is heavy, close, and deeply unsettling. The investigator notes that this type of animal is not typically found in the region, making the source of the sound even more difficult to explain.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
As the presence continues to move around the camp, the investigator speaks directly into the darkness, warning whatever is out there to show itself. Branches snap in response, and movement continues to track his position precisely, reinforcing the feeling that he is being actively monitored. The forest remains unstable, with repeated sounds of heavy branches breaking and distant grunting returning in intervals. The investigator tries to stay calm, but the continuous movement around him suggests the presence is not leaving and may still be observing every action from just beyond sight.
I kept hearing twigs breaking or branches breaking. You alright, mate? It's alright, chill out. And I heard it sounded like a pig, but we ain't got any pigs over here in England. Well, not that I know of anyway. Fucking hell, Fendi.
Just before dawn, the situation reaches its most disturbing point. A sudden human-like sound erupts directly beside the tent, forcing the investigator upright in shock. He calls out toward the immediate brush line, fully convinced something is positioned just outside the shelter, reacting and listening from the darkness. As morning approaches, nothing is ever confirmed, and the source of the activity remains unknown.
Hi, I can hear you. Someone just fucking about.
With constant movement circling the campsite, unexplained animal-like sounds, and a final close-range disturbance at the edge of the tent, the encounter remains completely unresolved. If something circled your tent all night without ever revealing itself, would you stay until morning or leave in the dark? This video comes from YouTube creator D's Dark Adventures, where wilderness investigations in remote forest areas often lead to unexplained and unsettling encounters. What begins as a routine exploration deep in the woods quickly turns into a disturbing situation after strange sounds, aggressive movement, and an unseen presence begin following the group through the forest. The video opens in chaos as an unidentified voice yells into the forest while loud rock impacts echo through the trees. Moments later, heavy clacking sounds emerge from the brush, forcing the investigator to urgently retreat deeper into the woods to escape the area.
Come on, man, leave me alone. Don't you do it. What you got? No. Leave it. Hello? My dogs won't harm you. There was the rock clacking. Clack, 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 clack. I'm gonna find my way to the trail. I'm getting out. Come on, girls.
While examining unusual branches off the trail, heavy footsteps suddenly break the silence. Dry leaves crunch nearby, followed by a sharp branch snap, but no source is visible anywhere in the surrounding forest. The investigator notes that previous visits to this area have shown shadowy figures moving between the trees in the background. His dogs also begin acting unusually, suggesting something may be tracking them from a distance.
There was one y'all sent. It's a little tiny banana. And Mia takes it everywhere with her sleep. I've never seen her do with that. She usually tears them up. But she's not. Come on.
Deep in thick brush, the dogs suddenly refuse to move forward and begin backing away. At the same time, something heavy moves through the leaves directly ahead, remaining completely hidden.
Yeah, I hear that too, guys. Walking through leaves. Ch, 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 ch. Where is it? Okay. Yeah, where are you going? I want to keep pushing, doggy. You want to go back? Alright, well, let me just look for a minute. And we'll go back. You stay right there. Mia. Good girl, honey. You're such a sweet baby. Oh, yay. Look at all these lean-tos. I love coming to new spots.
A sudden deep roar erupts from the forest, immediately stopping the group. The sound is powerful enough to silence the entire area in an instant.
And her real name is Samara. She just goes by Mar. That was a tree. That was a tree dog, guys. I'm gonna shut up. Samara? Good job, Mia. You're good.
As the group loses the trail, the rock-clacking sound returns, following their movement through the forest and creating the feeling that something is tracking them. At the edge of a swamp, the investigator spots a pair of motionless eyes staring from the dark brush before they suddenly disappear.
I can't get to zoom in any more than that, dang it. I see eyes. This is silver. Come. Mia, leave that alone. She smells the people over there. There's one of them things where you sign it. And there's a bunch of them around here, and that all the other parks. But right here, direct deposit into the swamp. But it's so swampy that I can never get back here. It might be dry enough.
With shadowy movement, tracking sounds, and an unseen presence seemingly guiding and following the group, the true source remains unknown. If something tracked you through the forest without ever showing itself, would you keep going or leave immediately? This video comes from YouTube creator Smithereens, who travels to a remote area near the Navajo Nation to investigate skinwalker legends, ancient petroglyphs, and unexplained activity reported throughout the desert. While exploring the canyon, they discovered disturbing petroglyphs showing horned entities and strange humanoid figures that appear far from ordinary human depictions. Some of the carvings seem to portray a transformation into something far more sinister, adding an unsettling atmosphere to the entire location.
Whoa. That's wild, but that's so creepy. The horns. I feel like the stance on them too.
Yeah.
Like the way that they're like stood, like you talked about it being like a defender.
Right.
Like it has kind of a defensive posture to it. So what we're looking at right here could, in theory, be what some people would call a skinwalker. Could.
Definitely like a spot where an ancient indigenous person would sit to witness the summer solstice and tap into that like a portal where,
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah, skinwalker entities or something could totally come through. Yeah. This, with this stance and the horns, would not be a villager. No.
It's something else.
This is like a deity figure or like a skinwalker. Yeah.
Get it.
As they continue searching the area, strange activity begins to unfold. One investigator briefly spots what looks like glowing eyes in the darkness before they disappear. Minutes later, both witnesses notice unexplained flashes of light and movement where nobody should be present.
Ago, I saw what looked like eyes for a split second, but same thing, they were gone just as quick as they appeared. I don't see anything. Alright guys, so right behind me is some of the petroglyphs. They're pretty creepy, I'm not gonna lie. There's right in front of me, basically to me, what resembles like transformation into some sort of deity. One could say a skinwalker. Carl told me that there's a rock right here behind me that the shaman used to sit in.
Wanting to test the area's reputation for himself, he sits alone on a rock believed to have been used by ancient shamans. The silence doesn't last long before an unexplained sound suddenly echoes through the canyon, instantly putting everyone on edge. The most chilling moment comes when they spot what appears to be a figure standing high on the rocks overlooking them. The shape remains motionless, as if it has been silently watching the entire investigation from above.
Without further ado, the logical thing is sit where I shouldn't.
Was the figure on the cliff just a shadow, or was something really watching them from the darkness? This video comes from YouTube creator Wandering Simon, where remote hiking journeys and overnight stays in isolated wilderness locations often lead to unsettling and unexplained encounters deep in the Scottish Highlands. What begins as a quiet trek through an empty mountain trail quickly turns into a disturbing situation after a direct warning voice, unsettling folklore, and unexplained nighttime activity begin surrounding an isolated bothy. The hike begins in complete silence across the desolate Highland Trail when a sudden disembodied voice cuts through the environment. The phrase is clear and immediate: "Leave now and never come back." The sound appears to carry across the empty landscape with no visible source, instantly shifting the atmosphere from calm exploration to an uneasy sense of threat.
I want to constantly be connected to all the messages and emails and work. Go outside.
Leave now and never come back.
Enjoy it.
The investigator later arrives at Ben Alder Cottage, a remote bothy widely associated with local legends and reports of disturbing past events. Inside the structure, he reflects on the folklore tied to the location, including stories of extreme isolation and tragic outcomes experienced by those who once stayed there alone during harsh conditions. The setting feels increasingly heavy as the history of the place becomes more present.
So this apparently is the most haunted bothy, aka cottage, in Scotland. In fact, in the whole of UK. There's two legends surrounding that bothy. One is about a guy who originally lived here. His name was McCook. Maybe it was a lady, I don't know. It was a servant apparently. And he hung himself off of the front door. The other story goes, it's a little more creepy, I think. A lady with her infant child was walking in the area when the storm caught them. So they took shelter in the bothy, and the storm was persistent for several days, and the lady, driven mad by hunger, by the circumstances, went and killed and ate her child. If you can believe it, I don't know. So apparently now it's haunted. I don't believe it's haunted, so I'm staying here, and I expect nothing apart from me snoring, which can sometimes wake me up. So that's that.
Later that night, the isolation of the Highlands begins to affect orientation and perception. After stepping outside into complete darkness, the investigator briefly loses his sense of direction. The surrounding terrain offers no clear reference points, emphasizing how easily a person can become disoriented in such a remote environment.
It's almost 10 p.m. I'm by the loch. So far, no extraterrestrial activity, no extra spiritual activity. Everything's good. I'm just walking about. I'm by this magnificent rock. Where am I? Oh, Shimano. I might be a little bit lost. Okay. I got a little bit lost. I went out for a pee. As I was saying, if you want to stay in that bothy, don't worry about nothing. It's all good. There's no ghosts. Look at that. There's the bothy. Right guys, I'll
sit by the fire for a little more. I'll enjoy some time with Ben Bracken.
Shortly after returning inside, a sharp cracking sound echoes from outside the room. The noise resembles heavy wood snapping under pressure and comes from very close range. The sudden disturbance suggests movement immediately outside the structure, though nothing can be seen in the darkness, leaving the source unknown.
Bracken. Right guys, I'll sit by the fire for a little more. I'll enjoy some time with Ben Bracken, and I'll probably just go to bed because I'm really tired. Everything is sore. I'm wondering how I'm gonna survive going back to the car tomorrow. But for now...
With a direct warning voice on the open trail, unsettling folklore tied to the remote cottage, and unexplained movement occurring just outside the structure at night, the Highlands journey ends without any clear explanation for what was truly present. If a voice in the wilderness told you to turn back with no reason given, would you continue forward or leave immediately? This video comes from YouTube creator Franco Travels, where abandoned explorations and urban adventure investigations uncover disturbing encounters. What begins as a nighttime exploration of an abandoned factory quickly turns into a terrifying game of cat and mouse, after screams, shadowy figures, strange voices, and evidence of unknown occupants begin appearing throughout the building. While scanning the factory from outside, the investigator spots a bright light glowing from a third-floor window through his night vision camera. Invisible to the naked eye, the anomaly suggests someone is already hiding inside the dark building.
Nothing. Oh shit. I got something on the top window here, and it's really bright. And it's weird because for me I don't see anything. See it? Shit.
Moments later, a loud human scream suddenly echoes from within the factory. The chilling sound immediately confirms that multiple people may be moving through the structure.
Damn it. As of right now, I'm keeping an eye on that window. I could barely see like a hint of light. It looks like a candle, but I wouldn't have seen it had it not been for night vision. But I did just hear what sounded like yelling. Listen. Oh man, this is nerve-wracking.
After entering the building, the investigator begins hearing distant voices bouncing through the empty hallways. The tension escalates further when a clear, mocking laugh rings out from somewhere above him in the darkness. On the third floor, the investigator discovers 3 freshly lit candles burning on a makeshift altar. Beside them sits a disturbing wooden mask carved into a permanent scream. As he examines the scene, the sound of a child crying can be heard somewhere outside the building.
I can see the candle. I just turned off my flashlight. I can now see the light. Back on the IR.
The most alarming discovery occurs when night vision reveals one person standing motionless on a second-floor balcony, while another watches from a third-floor window above, confirming that multiple individuals are actively monitoring his movements.
I'm gonna turn on my IR, see what I see. the second floor. They're just staring at me, I think. What the fuck? There's somebody right on the second floor there. I can see the eyes blinking. Oh my god, that is some creepy shit. There's somebody on the third floor right now. That's probably the person that put candles there with that little artifact. I'm gonna walk the other way like I'm not even there. I'm gonna look normal. Oh my god, I just saw another light, I think. Downstairs. I'll read it.
Just as the investigator discusses his next move, a woman's laughter suddenly echoes through the factory once again, reinforcing the feeling that he is being followed through the building.
Usually I don't go in with my flashlights blazing until I'm pretty sure that this place is empty. Hold on. I hear voices already. I like how right when I was talking about that, I just start hearing laughing. You hear that? Okay. I'm gonna keep going in anyway. If I run into people, I run into people. See what happens. Well, that sounds like a woman laughing. Meaning she's probably not alone. Oh god, it is cold.
The investigation ends with one final scare inside a chemical laboratory, when several glass bottles suddenly crash from a shelf moments after he enters the room, prompting a rapid exit from the building.
One of these bottles just moved. It's probably a rat. Look. The bottles in the back here fell. Oh, that was creepy. As soon as I walked in, I thought somebody was back here hiding. I like how you see all these bottles. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? And then Saturday with the Corona bottles. They had a blast on Saturday. Then they went to Pepsi and went into a diet. And then repeat. Alright. Well, I don't know what that was about. Maybe it happens again. This reminds me of when I was used to work at the hospital. These look like morgues. That's exactly how they look like, just like that.
With screams echoing through empty hallways, shadowy figures appearing in the darkness, and multiple unknown individuals seemingly tracking the investigation from start to finish, the true nature of what was hiding inside the abandoned factory remains completely unresolved. If you discovered that multiple unseen people were silently watching your every move inside an abandoned factory all night, would you keep exploring or head straight for the exit? This video comes from YouTube creator Exploring with Bear, where solo wilderness expeditions document disturbing encounters deep within isolated forests. What begins as a routine overnight camp quickly turns into a terrifying survival ordeal after violent impacts, unexplained footsteps, and signs of a hostile intruder begin surrounding the campsite in the middle of the night. While checking the perimeter after dark, the investigator narrowly avoids injury when a large branch or heavy wooden object suddenly crashes down from above and lands directly inside the campsite, signaling that something unusual may be moving nearby.
What the heck was that? That sucker came flying at it. That just fall from up there? That's what I was telling you guys about the Widowmakers when you're pitching your tent. Like that was, I don't know what that was, but imagine if that was a monster limb now. What is that noise coming from the lake?
Only minutes later, a massive explosive bang erupts from the center of the campsite, while the investigator is away from his shelter. The sound is so loud and sudden that it creates the impression that someone has entered his camp without warning.
Did you guys hear that? That was a big frickin' bang by camp. The woods is becoming alive. Oh yes, here we go. Here's the offering tree. Oh, I crapped my pants if now there was something up there. I just got the chills even thinking about it. But yeah, so a couple videos ago I left an offering. I left him a couple apples, banana, and then I don't know if he took them or another animal, but they're gone. Like, there is no signs of anything now.
Shortly after midnight, a violent crash outside the tent jolts the investigator awake. Moments later, heavy footsteps can be heard crunching through the leaves and approaching directly toward the tent, stopping only a short distance from the fabric walls.
I just heard I don't know if I was even all the way asleep or what, but there was a huge crash outside. Do you hear that?
The encounter escalates dramatically when rocks and heavy debris begin striking the tent from outside. Trapped inside with no clear escape route, the investigator arms himself while the impacts continue hitting the shelter.
Something is standing right outside of the tent. It walked right up to the tent. Do you hear it? There it is again. What the heck is that? Oh. It's throwing stuff at the tent. I'm armed. No. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have a freaking heart attack. Man, whatever that is, I don't know what. I almost feel like it could be people messing with me. I just heard it breathing. Oh! I can hear it.
As the attack continues, the investigator captures the chilling sound of deep breathing coming from just outside the tent entrance. The close-range audio suggests that whoever, or whatever, is outside has moved within only a few feet of the shelter. 1 week later, the investigator returns to inspect the abandoned campsite and discovers the tent completely destroyed. A heavy cinder block has been thrown directly onto the collapsed structure, revealing that significant force was used against the shelter after he fled.
Look at that. Frickin' cinder block. Someone destroyed the frickin' tent. I wonder if they thought I was laying in there when they threw that block on it. Man, that would have messed me up. Man, it looks like somebody was trying to hurt me. Yeah, so it's official. There's a frickin' maniac or something out here. Frickin' psychopath. Man, that is crazy. Oh, it's ripped up too. Look at all the rips in it. It's like it was cut. Yeah, look. Where's the door at? Anything in there?
A closer inspection uncovers an even more disturbing detail. Multiple sections of the tent have been deliberately sliced open with what appears to be a sharp blade, suggesting that a human intruder may have targeted the campsite after dark. With heavy footsteps approaching the tent, rocks striking the shelter throughout the night, and clear evidence of deliberate damage discovered afterward, the terrifying encounter raises a disturbing question. What would have happened if the camper had stayed until morning? This video comes from YouTube creator Restless Wanderer Backpacking, where remote backpacking expeditions and wilderness adventures document real encounters with the dangers hidden deep inside America's most isolated backcountry regions. What begins as a routine backpacking trip through the Great Smoky Mountains quickly transforms into a terrifying survival situation after hikers discover an abandoned campsite connected to a highly aggressive black bear guarding a deadly secret deep within a remote valley. While exploring an isolated section of the backcountry, the hikers come across a fully established campsite that appears completely abandoned. Personal belongings, food supplies, and even a cell phone remain scattered around the camp, as though the occupant had suddenly vanished.
A lone predatory male. So just a heads up, who knows what happened here, but for all of us to know. So these guys were hiking down the valley, making their way towards camp. Like I said, they had seen more bear sign than normal, and they had noted that on their way down. When they get to the bottom of the valley, they get to their campsite, and they notice somebody had already set up camp there. There was a tent set, there was a makeshift picnic table, and in fact here, this is part of the video here. If you look, that right there's the second hiker. The guy taking the video is the first hiker. This is that little makeshift table that people have made. It looks like out of wood and logs. But they got to that table. Another camp had been set. So they started setting up where they had availability, and they started looking around. On the table, they noticed some personal artifacts. A cell phone was sitting there on the table. And to them, it looked like someone had made lunch and then gone for a little afternoon hike while leaving all their stuff out. So at first, they were a little aggravated, right? They were thinking, why is he going to leave all this stuff out here? And it looks like even some food stuff. So they set up camp. They go down to the river.
The true danger becomes apparent moments later, while the team is near the water preparing to fish. As a camera pans across the opposite bank, a large black bear is suddenly revealed, hiding within the brush only a short distance away. The animal appears to be actively guarding something hidden nearby, while carefully watching the hikers' movements.
The table, and this guy goes down to the river to do some fishing, okay? And here, we'll take a look at the clip, though. Let's watch this for a second. And then I'm going to stop a couple times to make some points. We'll watch it all the way through, and then we'll dive into what it really shows. There's that bear right there looking at him. Okay, so that bear had been sleeping on the other side of the river the entire time they were there, making coffee, setting up. They had not even noticed it. This guy had now gone back down to the river so he could do some fishing. He was trying to get a little fishing in, and he was down there looking for a spot, and he said he was looking around, and he started noticing a little bit of like refuse or maybe food trash on the other side of the bank. In fact, let me pull it back. Right here. Here, let me let it go. So right here, you see right here, he noticed that, and he said that started making him look around a little bit more, which is when he noticed that bear right on the other side.
Attempting to push the bear away using noise, trekking poles, and bear spray, The team manages to temporarily drive the animal uphill. However, a closer inspection of the area reveals the horrifying reason for its behavior. The bear had been guarding human remains hidden near the riverbank, aggressively maintaining control over the site and refusing to leave the area.
Now, this is also when they noticed the other hiker. So the bear, they think, was trying to drag him up, and then it tumbled the body back down into the river. So this is when they saw, oh, shit, there's a body there. And they went across the stream since the bear had left to investigate more. That blue thing, let me pull it up here real quick. So this blue thing right here, that is his rucksack or bear bag. That is the other hiker's bear bag. It's actually sitting right there, and a lot of the food had been strewn. And then that body of the hiker was right here. That bear was sleeping on it. And if you know how bears do with food, they kind of bury it, let stuff sit for a little while and sleep there. But he had stashed that hiker right here. Now they investigate the body. They're able to identify. They get some identification off of him. They tried to put him in a better place out of the water. They said secure him as gracefully as they could. At that point, though, the bear started coming back down aggressively at him. So he's coming down, trying to defend his little food stash. And these guys go back to camp. So they hike back the 20 feet or 30 feet across the river to the camp that they're at and come up with a game plan. And this is where these guys did amazing. They, first of all, broke camp down. Okay. They are miles from cell signal, no beacon with them, and not sure exactly what they're going to do, he was saying. So they broke camp down one at a time. One guy would watch the bear, who was aggressively over there just watching him. The other guy would break his stuff down and pack, and they would take turns while they packed.
The situation reaches its most dangerous moment when the bear suddenly returns, charging back down the hillside in an attempt to reclaim the location. With no cellular service and help miles away, the hikers are forced into a tense emergency evacuation while keeping constant watch on the aggressive animal, observing them from across the stream.
Aggressively over there just watching them. The other guy would break his stuff down and pack, and they would take turns while they packed. Then they felt the need to one more time try to scare that bear off of the hiker. And they went out very aggressively again with rocks and hiking sticks to no avail. This time they said that bear was not leaving and in fact was becoming more aggressive with them. Then these guys took waterproof index cards, something I haven't carried in the past, but I might now. They took these and rubber band them around trees all around camp and on the trail coming in, explaining the situation, letting people know the danger, and just warning other folks in case they stumble in.
With an abandoned campsite, a predator guarding a deadly scene, and an emergency retreat through the remote wilderness, the encounter becomes one of the most disturbing backcountry discoveries imaginable. If you suddenly realized the bear watching you from across the river was not protecting food, but guarding a human kill site, would you investigate further or leave the area immediately before it returned? This video comes from YouTube creator Novice Wild Camper, where solo wild camping adventures and overnight wilderness expeditions across the United Kingdom. What begins as a peaceful winter camp on the isolated moorlands of the Peak District quickly transforms into a nerve-wracking overnight ordeal after a series of strange vocalizations and unexplained sounds begin surrounding the tent under the cover of darkness. At approximately 9:30 p.m., the silence of the winter landscape is suddenly broken by a series of unusual noises echoing across the dark moors. From inside the tent, the camper listens as deep, distorted vocalizations carry through the night, air from somewhere beyond the campsite, immediately changing the atmosphere of the isolated location.
Right, so I've heard deer, I've heard foxes make some really weird noises at night, but I don't know if you heard that. I'm not sure if the camera picked it up, but God knows what it is.
It's quite a weird guttural sound. I'll try and boost it on the edit, see if you can. See if you can hear it, because that is really weird.
Moments later, the sounds appear to move closer. A distinct clicking noise emerges from somewhere near the tent, cutting through the freezing night. The camper pauses to listen carefully, realizing the sound seems far heavier and more deliberate than anything normally expected from the wind or small wildlife moving through the area.
I'll try and boost it on the edit, see if you can. See if you can hear it, because that is really weird. Did you hear that? That's quite eerie. It does not sound like a deer. Definitely doesn't sound like a fox. Odd. Right, I'm going to zip up and put my earplugs in, I think. Try and get some sleep, and hopefully I'll still be here in the morning. Good night. Good morning. I'm acting like I've just woke up. It's about 7 o'clock. I've been up since 5. Just trying to get some morning shots, which I posted up on Instagram and Facebook. Don't know if the camera's picking it up, but there's a very weird sounding bird. Sounds like a kookaburra with a sore throat. It's not going to do it now.
As the disturbance continues, a low growl-like sound suddenly echoes through the fog surrounding the campsite. Unable to identify the source, the camper notes that the vocalization does not resemble any familiar calls commonly associated with local wildlife, increasing concerns that something unknown may be moving nearby. Just before dawn begins to break, the night reaches its most unsettling moment. A sharp, distorted screech suddenly erupts from the dense vegetation beside the tent, sounding unlike anything heard earlier in the night. With visibility restricted by darkness and thick mist, the source of the noise remains completely unseen.
Morning. I'm acting like I've just woke up. It's about 7 o'clock. I've been up since 5. Just trying to get some morning shots, which I posted up on Instagram and Facebook. Don't know if the camera's picking it up, but there's a very weird sounding bird. Sounds like a kookaburra with a sore throat. It's not going to do it now. It's fairly close to camp, but apart from those weird noises last night, it was a very quiet one. Took ages to get off to sleep, but slept okay in the end. I haven't checked the thermometer, but when I checked it in the middle of the night, it was about 2 degrees. So I didn't get down too cold last night, but it was chilly enough. Got a fair bit of condensation in the tent tonight, on the inner as well, frustratingly, which I think has come from the outer and come through it. There was not a breeze last night. It's absolutely dead still. Really, really quiet and still night. So I've just got the camera set up on a night lapse at the moment to sort of see if that works this morning. Another attempt.
With strange vocalizations echoing across the moors, unexplained sounds drawing closer to the tent, and a final screech erupting from the darkness before sunrise. The unsettling events at White Edge remain completely unresolved. If you spent an entire night listening to unknown sounds circling your tent in the fog without ever seeing what was making them, would you stay until morning or leave the campsite immediately? This video follows a nighttime investigation inside a remote cemetery where the atmosphere quickly turns unsettling as strange sounds begin echoing through the dark. It opens with distant screams, cutting through the forest silence, immediately setting a tense tone for the exploration ahead. As the investigator moves deeper into the graveyard, unexplained noises are heard, and an owl briefly appears, adding to the uneasy feeling of being watched.
So I've made it back out into the cemetery where there's usually a lot of homeless people or... Anyway, weird stuff you see out here 24/7. I'm already hearing somebody yelling from deep inside the forest. I have to kind of walk through here. I'm leaving my truck behind here. I'm going to make my way on the inside where I'm actually currently hearing what sounds like somebody yelling. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but there's somebody yelling that way. Last time I was here, I was able to see a person walking with a cloth or some sort of robe or something running through the area, and then I saw a face on the other side. I haven't been here in a minute because I felt like the activity was just way too strong. I wanted to give this place some time before I came back here, only because I felt like every time I came out here, it was getting more and more and more crazy. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but there is a screaming. So I found the culprit. It's an owl. It's just staring right at me. I'm using IR, so I'm not blinding him. You scared the hell out of me. So for tonight's video, I want to see if I could contact what I think was a lady walking through here, or a spirit of a lady, or whatever. I do know that there's been times where I could hear what sounds like spiritual voices or whispering happen. I think I heard whispering coming from this mausoleum right behind me.
A spirit box session near a mausoleum brings the first clear signs of communication.
It looks like someone left a balloon with a beer here. The only thing is there's not even a tomb here for anybody. I don't know if it's for this one. And they just put it to the side. But it says happy birthday. Whose birthday is it? Can you tell me whose birthday it is? The balloon is swinging. Now there's barely...
Where I know.
Where I know. Where do you know? Right now my current wind speed on my watch is 0. I don't know if you guys could see that, but it says 0. There is a slight gust though. So I'm just going to let you guys know. It's barely anything for me, but enough to definitely move a balloon. There is literally nothing around me. I'm just standing out here in the middle of the dirt, or in the graveyard.
You know.
You know what? Ouch. I'm getting bitten alive by mosquitoes.
With faint voices responding alongside the strange discovery of a birthday balloon placed in the area. The tension escalates when female screams are heard nearby, pulling the investigation closer to the source.
Are you upset it's your birthday? Are you mad that you're not here? I'm sorry if I'm shaking this camera along, but I'm getting eaten alive by mosquitoes right now.
Yes.
It just said yes. So I am about 40 feet away from the balloon, and I could already hear it sounds like moaning coming from the same area with the mausoleum, the same area where I seen the person walking. Everything is always right here in this area, and I think I just seen what looks like a flashlight.
Around the mausoleum, equipment readings and a mysterious light intensify the experience, suggesting something active within the area.
Let me see if I can zoom in. So I just seen the flashlight kind of hiding behind these two. There it is, you see it? Right there. Up, it's gone. I'm gonna zoom out. It's inside the forest.
Further attempts to communicate using a RIM pod and spirit box produce unsettling words like curse, stressed, and regret, adding a darker emotional tone to the session. As the investigation continues, the situation becomes more alarming when distant lights resembling people are seen moving through the cemetery, forcing caution and hesitation.
Because, with all the things that have happened here, including that crime scene, you see the light? It looks like it's coming from inside the fence, which is the crime scene area. Holy shit. Oh yeah, I see headlights now. I'm trying to keep the camera as still as I can. I gotta come up here.
Later, responses referencing Dr. Miller and the sound of crying deepen the sense of a lingering presence tied to the location. The team then explores a new path, where candles are discovered, and the distant sound of a passing train briefly breaks the silence. Back at the mausoleum, unexplained toy-like noises and heavy thuds suggest continued activity nearby.
Way above. What the hell is that? Oh, Jesus Christ, that scared the hell out of me.
In the final moments, a Ouija board is found inside a maintenance area, accompanied by a sudden temperature drop that hints at a strong presence still lingering.
And so far the door is still closed to the room. I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to night vision on this one, because it's gonna be hard for me to carry a flashlight while holding two things. See if I can pick up anything on the outside of the door. All I got on that stupid obvious was demon and door. Oh god, it is so dark in there. I don't mean to bother you. Whatever you are, I hope someone definitely closed the session. Look at that. Stay here and don't follow me. I didn't come here for you. I just came here looking for anything else.
The investigation ends after discovering signs of a nearby encampment, leaving the night with a final sense of unease and unanswered questions. This video comes from YouTube creator Austin Armstrong, where solo camping adventures and wilderness expeditions document unusual encounters. What begins as a peaceful overnight camping trip near Patoka Lake quickly turns into a nerve-wracking ordeal after unexplained noises erupt from the darkness and strange physical evidence appears around the isolated campsite. Shortly after nightfall, the quiet forest is shattered by a massive booming sound, followed by a sharp, snapping impact from deep within the woods. The investigator immediately scans the surrounding trail with a powerful flashlight, but despite the alarming noise, nothing can be seen moving in the darkness. The unexplained disturbance leaves, him feeling as though something unseen may be watching from the tree line.
So it was mostly wet. What the? I don't know if you guys just heard that, but like something literally just went boom over there. Holy crap. I gotta go check it out. I don't see anything. Hello? I'm trying to find a rational explanation too. Like, maybe it was the wood.
Later that night, a routine perimeter check reveals something far more unsettling. A heavy metal safety sign that had previously been secured against a wooden camping table is discovered lying flat on a nearby gravel road. The unexpected relocation suggests that a significant force impacted the campsite while the investigator was away.
Alright, so, update. I found out what that crash was earlier. What it was, so I put the sign had fallen down in the middle of the road that said, like, safe area, no dogs, no weapons. And so I set it up against one of the tables, like one of the camping tables. So I set it up against that because it was in the middle of the road. And I look over whenever I went out to go to the bathroom or something, and it was laying on the ground. So I was like, wait a minute, that makes sense. It was just a sign the entire time.
As midnight approaches, torrential rain begins flooding the area, and the atmosphere becomes increasingly tense. Alone in the wilderness with a dying phone battery and no way to drown out the sounds surrounding the campsite, the investigator ultimately abandons his tent and retreats to the safety of his vehicle, ending the trip early without ever discovering what caused the disturbances.
Alright, so here's the update. It's almost 1 a.m. and I bagged out of the tent because it's pouring and I got paranoid as hell. I'm not gonna lie. It's freaky out here by yourself. I'm not gonna lie, it's true. But that's okay. I'm warming up this the vehicle here, kind of charging my phone just in case I need to contact anything. I just figured I would be safer and warmer and better off in this van than in a tent.
With explosive sounds echoing through the forest, campsite equipment mysteriously displaced, and worsening weather trapping a lone camper in isolation, the disturbing events at Patoka Lake remain completely unexplained. This video comes from YouTube creator Exploring with Bear, where he documents solo survival expeditions and overnight stealth camping trips deep inside isolated forests while testing outdoor gear and enduring brutal wilderness conditions far from civilization. What begins as a simple winter camping gear test quickly spirals into a disturbing nightmare after unexplained noises, equipment failures, and strange glowing anomalies begin surrounding the frozen campsite deep within the snow-covered forest. Deep within the freezing woods, the silence of the snowfall is suddenly shattered by a disturbing dragging sound echoing through the brush, as if something massive is being pulled slowly across the forest floor just beyond the darkness.
It's getting closer. It's like something's being dragged. Tell me you guys hear that.
As the night grows colder, the heavy dragging noises return much closer to camp. Despite carrying a firearm for protection, the explorer remains completely blind to whatever is producing the crushing sounds moving through the trees nearby.
Directions. So right now I hear something like huge being dragged through the woods. Sounds really crazy. If you guys listen, you can hear it. This was very odd. Something's over there right now. You guys hear that? Do you guys hear that? It's getting closer. It's like something's being dragged. Tell me you guys hear that. Something is being dragged over there. Well, it quit. Nope, there it goes. What in the heck? That was a long drag. Like, it just kept going and going. But I don't see nothing, but it sounds pretty close. I don't know what to think about that. I am armed, though. That was a weird noise for sure.
Retreating into his compact one-man tent to escape the freezing air, the explorer suddenly hears heavy footsteps crunching directly beside the shelter. The slow movement circles the perimeter, creating the horrifying feeling that something unseen is actively watching the camp from the darkness.
And I should have watched a couple videos on it before I did it. I thought I had it, but yeah, that's a little too big of a gap, I'd say. I just heard something walking right up on me. That was weird. Where'd that come from?
While struggling through a violent coughing fit caused by worsening illness, a sudden explosive impact erupts from the pitch-black woods behind the fire. Moments later, his primary tactical flashlight aggressively malfunctions and dies, leaving the entire campsite exposed in darkness.
It is super dark out, guys. Oh, crap. Holy smokes. Did you got... That was a scary sound. I was coughing. I don't know if you guys heard that. Coming from back there, and I can't see nothing over there. Pitch black. Oh, my flashlight ain't working now. Wonderful. The heck was that? Alright guys, so it's been well past 12 minutes now. Way past 12 minutes. And this thing never even got hot. My mac and cheese is still cold. Alright, well, there's only one thing to do now.
After the fire burns low, the situation becomes even more terrifying. Sitting silently in the darkness, the explorer spots a pale, motionless figure standing near the edge of the trees. The instant a flashlight beam hits the area, the silhouette completely vanishes without a trace.
And then it'd go over here, and then New Testament, and all over the place. I told her I'd do it with her, but I want to read it from the beginning to end. So we're in Genesis right now. I think I'm like chapter 18 or 19 or something like that, maybe 20 on this. What was that? Freaking flashlights are all broke. What was that? So I didn't tell you guys, but off camera, I was just sitting here listening. And over there, because right now the light's in my eyes and I can't see nothing over there. But my eyes are starting to get a little adjusted to the dark because I had no lights on. I was just sitting here. It looked like something white. Like I could see, I could make out something white.
The unexplained activity reaches its peak when a strange glowing white light suddenly appears deep between the distant trees. The floating anomaly remains visible to the naked eye, but the exact moment the flashlight beam reaches it, the light instantly disappears from the forest entirely.
And then maybe laying down for a bit. Yeah, let's do that. Man, guys, you can't see it through the camera. But right, and once I put the light on it, you can't see it either. But there's like something. How is that possible? There's something sort of like light and glowing over there. I can see it with my eye. It's not coming up on camera. But once I put the light, this light on it, there's nothing there. Nothing at all. It don't even look like, I can't even tell like what it could be. It's like nothing. Light off though, and it's there. That is weird. I do not know what that is. I'm getting pretty tired. I don't know what time it is now. Quite a bit of times. Well, a whole lot of times passed. I don't know if I should sleep here or not, guys. Like, I can feel it in my lungs right now.
Overwhelmed by severe illness, constant equipment failures, and the unexplained presence surrounding the frozen campsite, the explorer ultimately abandons the wilderness in the middle of the night, leaving the dragging sounds, phantom silhouette, and glowing lights hidden deep within the forest completely unexplained. This video comes from YouTube creator Franco TV, where he explores abandoned facilities, cursed structures, and haunted historical locations connected to terrifying paranormal legends and unexplained activity hidden deep within the darkness. What begins as a solo overnight investigation inside Tennessee's infamous Hales Bar Dam quickly descends into chaos as violent storms, shadowy figures, and aggressive disembodied voices trap the explorer deep inside the flooded tunnels. Inside a decayed office buried within the dam, the investigator recounts one of the structure's darkest legends: the alleged murder of a young secretary whose death was supposedly covered up after a powerful official snapped her neck inside the facility. According to local stories, her spirit still watches visitors from the abandoned windows overlooking the ruins.
Craziest thing was probably when I nearly had a 35-pound wooden window frame thrown at me.
From here?
Yeah, third floor. It flew from a part of the dam that you cannot access anymore because the floor and the stairs to it have rotted away. Something happened here, but I'm not sure if it's YouTube appropriate.
Go ahead, say it. If it's anything not well.
Navigating through a maze of rusted fire doors and flooded hallways, the explorer descends deeper toward the underground tunnels. While scanning a sealed stone recess with his flashlight, he suddenly freezes after spotting a dark, motionless figure-shaped silhouette sitting upright inside the wall.
Okay, so I want to let you guys know that in here is actually, hear that, inside of here. Let me see what's in here real quick. Alright, inside here is where the tunnel is, and apparently there's a demon on the inside of here. That freaks me out because it looks like something sitting upwards, like a person, but that's the creepy tunnel area. Marco! I'm not allowed to go back in this direction. That whole area there is blocked off. So in case you guys are wondering, that area I'm not allowed to go to. He told me specifically. So we're going to keep it this way. I think that place belongs to another part of the building that they're keeping off limits.
Pushing the investigation further, the creator intentionally shuts off all primary lighting and begins walking through the tunnels using only night vision. Moments later, a deep vocal sound suddenly echoes directly behind him through the darkness, forcing him into a frantic equipment check near the exposed drops and flooded corridors.
Inside the tunnel. They're water drops. Now I just heard a beep. It is pitch black in here, and so saying that, what I want to do is take the night vision camera and walk through here with pitch darkness. This is incredibly not smart, so be careful when you guys ever do this, because there's a lot of holes and stuff you don't want to fall into. But let's go ahead and go night vision and seeing what we can catch. This has to be by far one of the creepiest locations I have seen, because I'm actually deep inside of this. I can't go too far down there, but we'll see what happens. I don't know yet. Holy crap. Alright, that's a wall. Guys, this is the tunnel. This is freaking terrifying.
As a violent lightning storm crashes over the dam, the investigator climbs a series of unstable wooden staircases toward the upper floor. Halfway up the corridor, overlapping whispers begin echoing through the empty structure, causing him to stop completely as the feeling of being watched intensifies around the staircase. The situation spirals into panic when the flashlight suddenly begins flickering uncontrollably on the second floor. Trapped in near total darkness beside massive electrical control boxes, the explorer hears a heavy shuffling sound moving from behind a sealed concrete wall before immediately retreating toward the lower tunnels.
Whoa, that's actually trippy. I actually have my light on just blinking mode. Oh shit, I just heard something. I don't want to give you guys an epileptic seizure. Oh, this is terrifying. It is trying to rain pretty bad.
Inside an abandoned room tied to the dam's darkest legends, the investigator begins a spirit box session. As the tracking devices spike violently, a crystal-clear voice suddenly breaks through the static and accurately identifies the exact color of his clothing. Seconds later, the creator reacts in shock as an ice-cold sensation grips his arm from the darkness beside him.
Corruption. Oh my god, I just got corruption. Something that you guys don't know, well, you guys do know, this building, back in the day when it was running, had a lot of corruption here. A lot of people had passed away here as well. Were you part of this facility?
Further down.
Further down. I'm getting a lot of something weird going on over here. I keep seeing something with a shadow.
Coming through front. Here on the end.
Look at that. I don't know if that's part of it, but
You also.
when this goes on, they're responding. The K2 meter's also lighting up.
Sweet. Whereabout? Seen it.
All right.
Location?
Is it okay that I could record in this room? Yeah, sure. I don't know if that's what it said. You guys correct me. Oh my god. Oh my god. It just said I have black pants. I have black pants on. Are you talking about what I'm wearing?
With the storm intensifying outside and the paranormal activity escalating inside the collapsing structure, the explorer is ultimately forced to abandon the investigation and evacuate the dam before conditions become completely uncontrollable. The shadow figures, intelligent vocal responses, and hostile presence hidden deep within the flooded tunnels remain terrifyingly unexplained. Do you believe the voices and figures inside Hales Bar Dam were the spirits of workers and victims trapped within the concrete ruins, or did something far older and far darker awaken beneath the tunnels long before the dam was ever built? This video comes from YouTube creator Paranormal Discovery, where remote wilderness expeditions and survival investigations explore isolated forests, abandoned structures, and alleged cryptid territory trait tied to disturbing paranormal encounters and unexplained activity deep within the wildlands. What begins as a rugged hiking expedition into the overgrown terrain of Blue Birch Mountain quickly transforms into a terrifying survival ordeal as violent crashes, strange tree formations, and aggressive unseen movement begin surrounding the camp deep inside the forest. While crossing a remote riverbank, the investigators discover a bizarre structural anomaly. The narrow footbridge appears heavily reinforced with massive logs far too large for a lone hiker to move alone, while a discarded hockey net sits mysteriously wedged into the frozen shoreline nearby.
Oh, so don't get it twisted. We're still entering remote Sasquatch territory, possibly Wendigo. We got Skinwalker on our thing last time, so I don't know. I really don't know. Oh, this is completely different. What the? How does that happen? Like, actually, so the video I put in the description, go to that video. This bridge was different, man. It's like, this is not human made.
What?
Bro, when I came here, this was a totally different looking bridge.
Oh, really?
So like, there's no way a human made this like this. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Oh, these look fucking heavy.
That's what I mean.
How would
That
you
one,
even carry those?
that far one was there, but this, or like these ones,
These are new?
I'm almost certain.
What's down there? Can you see that? Or am I just tripping out?
It's like a hockey net.
Yeah, is that what that is?
I think so.
How is that there?
I have no idea.
That's a very odd placement for a hockey net.
Right? For the winter maybe,
Yeah,
but
maybe.
that would be some remote Sasquatch hockey. Like, yeah.
During a short pause near a dense spruce thicket, the silence of the mountain suddenly erupts as something massive crashes violently through the underbrush close to the trail, immediately alerting the team that something unseen may be tracking their movement through the woods. Ascending deeper toward the mountain peak, the explorers uncover unnatural tree formations commonly associated with alleged cryptid territory. A huge timber limb appears deliberately wedged between two split tree trunks high above the forest floor, forming a strange territorial marker deep within the wilderness.
Guys, I'm getting nervous. I'm starting to get just a weird feeling like something is out here. What the hell? There you go. Got some Bigfoot activity already. Tree jam between some trees. Some Bigfoot activity already. If you see, there's like a tree jam between two.
Oh.
I've been finding numerous trees
Like that?
jammed between like two split trees.
Like specifically in this area?
Yes.
Yeah?
And in other forests too.
Huh.
So I'm starting to think that it's like
To
a,
be honest, I didn't know that was a thing.
well, it's structure.
This is why I'm here with the Sasquatch professional.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's just a weird pattern I've been seeing, so. What?
It's warm, it's humid.
Yeah.
So, we'll do that.
Now, I know when it gets dark, the GoPro is absolutely shit in the darkness, so I'm doing my best to really show you guys the rest of the tour until we get there. I do know we're really close.
As fog rolls across the trail near the abandoned ruins, a chilling, high-pitched woman's laugh suddenly echoes through the trees from somewhere near the old cabin before the investigators can even begin recording the sound.
Just made it until my phone died. So, perfect timing, but still. What the f? Hello? Bro, I just heard a woman laugh, like actually. I just heard a woman laugh. Like, like from somewhere in here.
I wasn't recording, but you should have recorded that.
Yeah, I was recording.
From the direction of where this cabin is?
Yeah. Like a woman, like,
That's creepy.
whoa.
Maybe somebody's there?
Maybe. Hello?
Later that night, the situation spirals into panic after one explorer separates from camp to investigate distant howling sounds near the lake. Within moments, an unseen four-legged creature begins growling and rapidly running parallel through the brush beside him, forcing a frantic sprint back toward the safety of the fire.
Where did the dogs come from? Oh, shit. What was that? Whoa. Whoa. Whoa! Fuck! Holy shit! Something here was running with me. I swear when I was running, I heard something running down that hill. Holy shit. How the fuck do I get back? Oh shit. Literally trying to hold this one. Who's there?
As dawn approaches and the team begins packing their gear, they discover something deeply disturbing beside the cabin. Their heavy outdoor prep table has been violently flipped upside down, while two massive wooden limbs have been carefully arranged into a perfect X formation directly outside the entrance.
Let's bounce.
You seen that?
What the f?
The table.
Yo, the table's knocked over.
How the hell did that happen?
Yo, the table's legitimately knocked over. Dude, what the hell?
Yeah, right?
What is this?
How the hell did that happen?
Somebody there? Yeah, it's just...
I didn't hear anything while we were sleeping.
No. I mean, I can sleep through a hurricane,
Yeah,
but...
me too.
Yo, that's actually tripping me out, man.
Me too.
With batteries failing, the camp perimeter compromised, and physical evidence suggesting something had been actively monitoring their movements throughout the night, the investigators ultimately abandon the expedition and evacuate Blue Birch Mountain before nightfall returns. Do you believe the strange tree formations and structural manipulations surrounding the campsite were created by a highly territorial cryptid hidden deep within the mountain wilderness? Or did the investigators unknowingly enter an area tied to something far stranger lurking beyond the forest? This video comes from YouTube creator Black Mass Paranormal, where remote wilderness expeditions investigate mountain folklore, hidden cave systems, missing persons cases, and terrifying unexplained activity deep within isolated backcountry terrain. What begins as a father and son search for a legendary underground tunnel network hidden inside Porter's Creek quickly descends into an unsettling trek through ancient stone structures, strange drag trails, and disturbing sounds echoing through the mountains after dark. Early in the expedition, the explorer recounts a bizarre local discovery from 2019 when a family searching for fossils accidentally uncovered a massive prehistoric tunnel entrance hidden beneath a collapsed rock pile. The underground structure reportedly stretches for miles beneath the surrounding wilderness.
We are at a very unique location this time around because we are in an area where I believe that the Pharaoh people used the tunnel systems to move throughout the mountains. I also think that they live throughout these tunnel systems. Back in 2019, a family came up here to Porter's Creek and they were just having a good time walking around and looking for fossils. Well, one of the children happened to move a pile of rocks, which ended up leading them into a tunnel system that was about 8 feet by 8 feet.
After crossing a shallow mountain river, the team stumbles upon a primitive stone retaining wall buried deep within thick mountain laurel. The carefully stacked structure appears far too deliberate to be natural, suggesting that an isolated settlement or hidden outpost once occupied the remote terrain.
It's like a old retaining wall almost. See, this is built 100%. Now the question is, who built it and why?
The tension intensifies after the investigators discover a strange trail of overturned rocks and displaced leaves cutting directly through the forest floor. A narrow drag mark carved through the mud suggests something heavy had recently been pulled through the woods by hand.
Maybe there used to be a homestead here. Something's been through here.
That's a human been here.
That's a wild looking tree over there.
Near the roots of a massive tree, the explorer notices a pale object partially hidden in the brush. Recovering it reveals a heavily weathered bone stripped completely clean, implying that a predator, human or animal, processed to kill directly beside the trail.
That's bone.
But it's like a, let me see. It's a bird bone.
It's
something. I don't know. There's no marrow in it. What is it?
I don't know. Something's been chewing on it.
Something ate all the marrow. Like there's a little bit inside.
But it feels weird.
And it's really white. It's like bones not.
Yeah. I mean, it's got like the density of an antler, but like, it's not an antler.
There was marrow in it. Take this home?
Yeah, take it home. Hell yeah, take it home. That's cool. Let's see if we can find anything else.
I want to get in the tree.
You want to climb up that tree?
Yeah.
It's a pretty amazing tree.
As daylight rapidly disappears, the team begins retreating toward the main trail when the silence of the mountains is violently shattered by the sound of a massive metallic door slamming somewhere deep within the valley.
Did you hear that?
What?
Sound like a door slamming?
I heard something sounding like that earlier, but I didn't hear it now.
Really?
But I heard it like up.
That's what I'm saying. It sounded like it came from that direction.
Yeah, because when we were up there, I heard it come up that way.
Well, hopefully my camera picked that up. But it was that metallic door sound.
Moments later, overlapping screams and rhythmic chanting-like vocalizations echo from the distant tree line. The disturbing sounds ripple across the mountainside twice in quick succession, convincing the investigators to immediately abandon their off-trail search before darkness fully consumes the terrain.
They're screaming. So for those of y'all who don't know, often associated when paranormal happenings occur, a lot of people report hearing like a metal door slamming when there's no reason for it. And that's just what happened. What do you think? You can make it across?
Yeah, but what's that screaming from?
I don't know what the screaming's from.
It sounds like, not like...
Before exiting the wilderness, the team uncovers a forgotten cemetery hidden deep within the forest. The weathered gravestones date back to the early 1900s, revealing the tragic remains of multiple infants buried beside a single isolated family line.
Alright, looks like we found some old gravestones. Here, check this out. Oh wow, look at that. These old graves, man. 1909. Born and died. Oh, that's a baby.
Oh, nothing. Falling in.
Yeah. With communication signals failing, darkness swallowing the mountains, and unexplained vocalizations continuing through the fog-covered timber, the father and son ultimately abandoned the search for the tunnel entrance entirely. The true extent of the underground passageways, and whatever may still be living within them, remains completely unknown. Do you believe these hidden mountain tunnels were once used by moonshiners and isolated settlers? Or could generations of feral inhabitants still be moving through the wilderness beneath Porter's Creek completely unseen? This video comes from YouTube creator Rugged Road Explorers, where remote canyon expeditions uncover ancient ruins, hidden cliff dwellings, and forgotten historical structures deep within dangerous high-altitude terrain far from civilization. What begins as a routine search for ancient sites using binoculars quickly transforms into a brutal survival climb as collapsing ledges, sheer canyon drop-offs, and isolated sealed chambers push the explorer to the absolute edge of disaster. Deep within the silent canyon, the explorer notices fresh predator tracks cutting directly across the narrow dirt path. The prints belong to a mature bobcat traveling with her kittens, confirming that active wildlife is hunting along the exact same cliffside corridor he must navigate alone.
And I wanted to point this out. What's right here? You've got cat prints. You've got a larger cat there. You can see the print there. And then you've got teeny tiny ones too. So you've got a mama cat, probably a bobcat. It doesn't look big enough to be a mountain lion. And her kittens have traveled not too recent right here in front of me. So let's go try to catch them. All right, guys, let's check this out.
The physical danger escalates rapidly as the explorer becomes disoriented while crossing unstable mountain terrain. Standing on a razor-thin ledge of loose shale with a deadly vertical drop beneath him, he's forced into a slow, high-pressure backtrack where a single mistake could send him hundreds of feet into the canyon below.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't think we're in the right place. Shoot. That's the kind of hazards with doing this stuff, trying to get to these ruins. We're obviously on the wrong level, and the levels below this looked a lot worse.
After descending deeper into the canyon system, the explorer uncovers an ancient hidden granary built directly into the cliff face. Carefully avoiding damage to the fragile structure, he discovers preserved wooden beams, prehistoric Fremont gray pottery, and an ancient corn cob still resting untouched inside the ruin after centuries of abandonment.
This is pretty cool. So that's the corner, that's the edge right there. Oof. So it looks like it was just a granary. This is the door right here. You can see the wood slats for it. It looks like somebody either fell or got kicked in on that end. Aha! Look! Yep, it definitely was a granary. There's a corn cob right there. Let's see if we can zoom in on it for you. You see there?
Beyond a collapsed stone wall, another structure suddenly appears across a massive canyon gap. The isolated ruin resembles a fortified chamber or sealed safe room positioned high above the abyss, completely unreachable without risking a deadly crossing over the exposed cliffside terrain.
That's crazy. And that is where we just came from. Oh boy. Holy smokes. There's another ruin there. It's another granary maybe? Or is this a habitation? Oh man. A safe room? Because there's no getting around that. It's a drop off. Oh. We may just, this is about as close as we're gonna get. I'll zoom in for you guys.
The tension peaks when the explorer leans over the unstable edge to film through a broken opening inside the sealed chamber. As loose sand and rock begin sliding beneath his boots, chunks of debris violently collapse down the canyon wall while he struggles to keep his footing above the enormous drop.
What do you think? Oh man. Kept this still so you could get a better look inside the chamber. There's no doorway, it was completely sealed. Someone broke a hole through the wall, just big enough to peek in. I can make out a shelf in the back and what looks like some objects placed on it. And on the floor, there's things scattered. What do you guys see in here? Let me know in the comments. So that's pretty cool. I know it doesn't look like it, guys. I wish I could get closer. I tried to get as close as I could, but it's slanted.
With daylight disappearing and the unstable cliffside becoming increasingly dangerous, the explorer is ultimately forced to retreat from the canyon before reaching the sealed chamber. The mysterious contents hidden inside the ancient structure, and the true reason these impossible cliffside shelters were built so far beyond human reach, remain completely unknown.